Today I'm going to walk you through 4 nutrients that support vein health, vascular function, and circulation in your legs. And I'll warn you up front, the last one has the deepest evidence base in the cardiovascular nutrition literature, and it is the one I want you to understand with the most care. But before I name any of them, I need you to do something first. Check yourself against the 5 symptoms I am about to describe. If even one applies to you, your circulation may already be sending an early warning, and the rest of this video could give you practical, evidence-grounded steps to talk to your doctor about. Pay close attention. Stay through to the end, because the recipe I will share at the close is the one I find myself recommending most often in my own practice, and the safety notes are the part most videos skip. I've spent years in clinical practice working with men and women over 60 whose circulation has begun to quietly shift. Dr. William Li, I'm starting today. Drop that line in the comments if this video lands for you. It lets me know who is following along, and I read every comment. 5 Weinring signs that circulation may be compromised. These are the 5 signs that show up most often when circulation in the legs is starting to decline. They are not diagnostic on their own. They are signals worth taking seriously and bringing to your clinician. 1. Persistent tingling. A sensation that won't go away. The first sign is persistent tingling, or a strange, uncomfortable sensation in the feet and legs. Sometimes it begins mildly, almost like a limb is falling asleep, but it keeps returning without obvious cause. Mechanistically, when oxygen-deprived blood struggles to reach peripheral nerves, those nerve fibers begin signaling distress. Tingling is what that distress feels like. The question is whether you're listening. 2. Cold feet in warm weather. The second sign is having persistently cold feet, even on warm or hot days. Many people assume this is just part of getting older. That assumption is wrong. When your feet are cold in a warm environment, blood is not reaching those extremities adequately. Your circulatory system is falling behind. That is not age. That is a real biological signal. 3. Cramping with walking or at night. The third sign is one of the most disruptive, intense cramping in your legs while walking, or cramps that wake you up at 2 or 3 a.m. and force you to sit up and stretch. The clinical term is intermittent claudication, and it occurs because your leg muscles are demanding more oxygen than the limited blood flow can supply. If you also experience restless leg sensations at night, that is another important signal. Both deserve clinical attention, sometimes treatable, sometimes indicating a vascular issue that should be formally assessed. 4. Skin changes and slow wound healing. The fourth sign is on the skin itself. Is the skin on your lower legs paler than it used to be, or more purple in tone? Are there discolored patches, brownish or reddish spots, that were not there before? These are critical biological signs that blood is pooling, vein walls may be weakening, and the skin tissue is not receiving the nutrients it depends on. This is also why leg wounds take dramatically longer to heal when circulation is impaired. Swelling that is persistent and unexplained is part of this same picture. 5. Varicose veins and spider veins. The fifth sign is visibly overloaded veins, twisted, distended varicose veins, or the smaller spider vein counterparts. Many dismiss them as cosmetic. But they represent something more important. The venous valves are not functioning properly. Blood is flowing in the wrong direction, or pooling in pockets, and pressure inside those veins is gradually rising. All 5 point in the same direction. They mean circulation needs evidence-based attention, not resignation. An honest word before we get to the nutrients. I want to be careful with one specific phrase before we continue, because it matters for how you'll use this video. We do not have peer-reviewed evidence that food level or supplement level intake of these 4 nutrients can dissolve existing blood clots. What the nutrition literature does support, and this is meaningful, is that these nutrients contribute to the structural integrity of veins and arteries, support healthy clotting regulation, reduce oxidative damage to vessel walls, and help maintain the conditions under which the vascular system is supposed to operate. If you have a known clot, or suspect one, sudden leg swelling, sharp calf pain, warmth in one calf, unexplained shortness of breath, that is a medical emergency. Call your physician or go to the emergency department immediately. This video is about supporting long-term vascular health through nutrition. It is not a treatment for acute thrombus. With that clarified, here are the 4 nutrients. Number 4. Niacin, vitamin B3, the vessel openability vitamin. Niacin, also known as vitamin B3, is one of the most studied and most underrated nutrients in cardiovascular nutrition. Why is it clinically significant? Think of your arteries and veins like water pipes running through a building. Over decades, those pipes begin to harden, accumulate deposits of fatty material, and slowly narrow. Niacin moves the system in the opposite direction. It helps maintain arterial flexibility, supports healthier blood flow to the lower extremities, regulates cholesterol balance, lowering LDL, raising HDL, and contributes to keeping vessel walls structurally resilient. Mechanistically, what niacin does is help sustain the production of NAD and NADP, the coenzymes without which cellular energy metabolism stalls. In the vascular system, this contributes to endothelial function, the inner lining of every vessel. When endothelial function declines with age, vessels stiffen and narrow. Niacin supports the opposite trajectory. Niacin also benefits the nervous system. Research consistently shows that adequate B3 status helps protect neural tissue from oxidative damage and supports cognitive performance in older adults. Where to find niacin in food? Eggs, easy to incorporate into any morning routine. Chicken breast, salmon and tuna, which add omega-3s and vitamin D on top of the niacin. Almonds, a portable everyday snack. How much do you actually need? The standard dietary reference intake for adults is roughly 14 to 16 milligrams per day. A single 100-gram serving of chicken breast alone covers more than half of that requirement. An important precaution: if you take niacin as an isolated supplement and exceed appropriate doses, you may experience what is called the niacin flush, a wave of heat, redness, and itching across the skin. It is not medically dangerous, but it is distinctly unpleasant, and it is the most common reason people stop taking the supplement. This is precisely why the food-first approach is the wiser clinical strategy. Whole food niacin comes packaged with the cofactors your body uses to process it without that reaction. Number 3. Vitamin C, the structural vein vitamin. Now the vitamin almost everyone has heard of but few understand in its full cardiovascular depth. Vitamin C. And here is what may genuinely surprise you. It is not simply an immune vitamin. It is a foundational structural nutrient for veins, arteries, and the skin of your legs. Without adequate vitamin C, your circulatory system cannot maintain itself. Your veins and arteries are constructed from tissue that must remain firm, elastic, and structurally resilient under constant pressure. The protein responsible for building that tissue is collagen. Here is the critical biochemical fact: vitamin C is the required cofactor for collagen synthesis. Without it, your body cannot adequately assemble the collagen that holds vessel walls together. When collagen production falters, vein walls begin to weaken, lose elasticity, and allow inflammation to set in. Varicose veins can worsen, the skin becomes fragile. Slow-healing wounds and persistent bruising become more common. None of this is theoretical. Vitamin C deficiency in older adults produces these exact pictures, and the clinical literature on supplementation shows the opposite trajectory when status is restored. Vitamin C also functions as a natural anti-inflammatory agent. If you experience heaviness or aching in your legs at the end of the day, or swelling after moderate activity, vascular inflammation is very plausibly contributing. Adequate vitamin C helps reduce that inflammatory load and contributes to steadier circulation. Food sources: simple, accessible, affordable. Fruits rich in vitamin C include oranges, lemons, strawberries, kiwi, which actually contains more vitamin C per gram than an orange, and guava, one of the most concentrated natural sources of vitamin C in any food. Among vegetables: broccoli, red bell peppers, and spinach. Eat these foods fresh whenever possible. Vitamin C degrades with prolonged heat, air exposure, and light. A precaution: while vitamin C is generally safe, doses above 2,000 milligrams per day can cause gastrointestinal discomfort, and chronic high intake has been associated with elevated kidney stone risk in predisposed individuals. The optimal strategy remains food first. Number 2. Vitamin K, the clotting regulation vitamin. The next nutrient is among the most misunderstood in all of clinical nutrition. I am talking about vitamin K, and I want you to pay close attention here, especially if you are currently taking an anticoagulant such as warfarin. This section is the most clinically important one I will deliver today. What does vitamin K actually do? Two principal functions, both vital. First, it regulates blood clotting with biochemical precision, neither excessive clotting, which produces dangerous thrombi, nor insufficient clotting, which creates bleeding risk. It maintains the precise balance that healthy circulation depends on. Second, and this surprises many people, it actively prevents calcium from accumulating inside arterial walls. When calcium deposits build up on vessel linings, the arteries become rigid, narrowed, and prone to obstruction. This process, vascular calcification, is a major contributor to long-term cardiovascular risk. Why this is a serious clinical note. When vitamin K status is adequate, your veins and arteries maintain their natural flexibility. Blood reaches the lower extremities with appropriate force and consistency. The probability of varicose vein deterioration and clot-related complications is meaningfully reduced. Food sources. Green leafy vegetables are the richest dietary sources. Broccoli, kale, cabbage, spinach, Swiss chard, and fresh parsley. Among fruits, kiwi and green grapes contain notable amounts of vitamin K-rich green juice. Base recipe. 1 cup of fresh spinach or kale, 1 stalk of celery, 1 kiwi or half a green apple, a thumbnail-sized piece of fresh ginger, 4 or 5 fresh mint leaves, and a small pinch of ground cinnamon. Blend with water, do not strain, and drink first thing in the morning. The fiber and the nutrients together maximize absorption. Critical clinical precaution. Warfarin and similar anticoagulants. If you take warfarin or another vitamin K antagonist anticoagulant, hear this clearly. The problem is never the eating of green vegetables. The problem is variability in how much you eat from one day to the next. If you consume a generous serving of kale today and almost no vitamin K foods tomorrow, your warfarin effect becomes dangerously unpredictable, sometimes too potent, sometimes far too weak. Both situations create real medical risk. What clinicians actually adjust is not the diet. It is the anticoagulant dose, calibrated to a stable and consistent vitamin K intake. Eat your green vegetables every day. Keep the quantity steady. If you intend to make any meaningful dietary change involving more or fewer greens, have that conversation with your doctor first so the warfarin dose can be recalibrated. Consistency is the cornerstone of safety here. This is not a recommendation to avoid vitamin K-rich vegetables. It is a recommendation to consume them regularly and predictably, and to keep your anticoagulant prescriber fully informed. Number 1. Vitamin E, the most extensively studied vessel protector. And we have arrived at the nutrient I want you to understand with the most care, vitamin E. This is the one with the deepest cardiovascular evidence base among the 4, and the one that delivers the broadest range of vascular mechanisms, but also the one where excess intake carries the clearest real-world risk. Both sides of that matter, and I am going to honor both. What does vitamin E do at the cellular level? As we age, vascular tissue undergoes oxidative stress, what you can think of as rust. Free radicals generated through normal metabolism progressively weaken the cell membranes lining your blood vessels. Vitamin E is a lipid-soluble antioxidant. That means it integrates directly into the lipid bilayer of cell membranes, where it neutralizes free radicals before they cause tissue damage. The result is structurally protected vein walls, slower vascular aging, and reduced baseline inflammation along the endothelium. Vitamin E and clot prevention. One of vitamin E's most clinically significant properties is its ability to reduce excessive platelet aggregation, the tendency of blood cells to cluster unnecessarily and form clots. For older adults and anyone with existing circulation challenges, this is meaningful. It supports freer blood flow and reduces venous stagnation. Vitamin E and the nitric oxide connection. Here is where vitamin E becomes especially relevant. It supports the endothelial cells lining your blood vessels in producing nitric oxide, the signaling molecule that causes smooth muscle cells and vessel walls to relax. When those vessels relax, blood pressure falls modestly, the heart operates with less mechanical resistance, and circulation improves. The analogy I use with patients is expanding a 2-lane highway to 4 lanes. The same volume of blood now moves with greater efficiency and less congestion. Where to find vitamin E through food. Egg yolks, particularly from free-range hens, almonds, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, fresh spinach, broccoli, avocado, extra virgin olive oil. A small handful of almonds, roughly 30 grams, provides close to half of the recommended daily intake. Add half an avocado and a spinach serving to a meal, and you have covered the vast majority of your daily requirement through food alone. And now the critical safety note, because this is the part I cannot skip. In the majority of cases, I do not recommend isolated vitamin E supplementation, particularly at doses above 400 IU per day. Peer-reviewed research has associated high-dose vitamin E supplementation with an elevated risk of bleeding, especially in individuals already taking anticoagulants or daily aspirin. Food-sourced vitamin E comes packaged with the synergistic fats and cofactors that modulate absorption and prevent accumulation to unsafe levels. Choose food first. The science consistently supports that approach. If you are on warfarin, apixaban, rivaroxaban, dabigatran, or daily aspirin, do not add a vitamin E supplement on top without consulting your prescribing clinician. The interaction is real, and in some situations, genuinely dangerous. How to take all four, daily meal plan and precautions. The goal is to build a daily eating pattern that delivers all four naturally. Here is the framework I share with my own patients. Vitamin B3, best consumed in the morning. Vitamin C, at breakfast or lunch. Vitamin K, at your main meal. Vitamin E, alongside healthy dietary fats. Breakfast, 1 boiled or poached egg, 1 kiwi or guava, a small handful of almonds, warm water with fresh lemon juice, less than 5 minutes to prepare, and it covers a meaningful share of your B3 and vitamin C requirement for the day. Lunch, grilled chicken breast or salmon. A generous salad with spinach or kale, cucumber, and a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil, a portion of avocado. This meal reinforces your arterial walls and keeps vitamin K levels consistent across the afternoon. Dinner, a light, anti-inflammatory meal, spinach and avocado salad, a small spoonful of sunflower or pumpkin seeds, warm unsweetened herbal tea. 4 daily habits that compound with the nutrition. Walk for 20 to 25 minutes every day. Movement is the most fundamental circulatory medicine available, and it costs nothing. Avoid crossing your legs for extended periods. It mechanically restricts venous return. Don't remain seated for more than 45 consecutive minutes. Stand, stretch, and rotate the ankles to keep blood flowing through the calves. Elevate your legs for 10 minutes before sleep. This reduces edema and venous pressure, and stay well hydrated through the day. Dehydration thickens the blood and elevates clot risk. The 10-day green juice protocol. Now the recipe. This is the green juice I have recommended most consistently in clinical practice, and I want to share the exact protocol. In your blender, 1 cup of fresh spinach, rich in vitamin K, iron, and antioxidants. 1 stalk of celery, associated in clinical research with modest blood pressure reduction. 1 kiwi, or half a green apple, delivering the vitamin C your vein walls depend on. A thumbnail-sized piece of fresh ginger, one of the most researched natural anti-inflammatory compounds available. 4 fresh mint leaves, supporting digestion and freshness. A small pinch of ground cinnamon, which supports blood glucose balance. Blend with 1 full glass of filtered water. Do not strain. The fiber is part of the nutritional package. Drink the full blend. Protocol. Drink it on an empty stomach, first thing in the morning, for 10 consecutive days. After that, 3 times per week is sufficient to maintain the benefit. Then wait 20 to 30 minutes before breakfast. An honest framing of what to expect. Within 10 days, what you are most likely to notice is a steadier subjective feeling in the legs, less heaviness at the end of the day, modestly reduced swelling in the lower extremities, and very possibly a slight improvement in that evening fatigue in the calves. What you should not expect is the resolution of a clinical vascular condition. Those require individualized medical care. Combine the juice with the 4 meals above, with daily walking, and with adequate hydration, and over weeks the cumulative effect on vascular health is meaningful. This is a foundation, not a miracle. Safety reminders for older adults. I want to be direct about a few clinical situations where you should not begin this protocol on your own. If you take warfarin, apixaban, rivaroxaban, dabigatran, or any anticoagulant, keep your vitamin K intake consistent from day to day and tell your anticoagulant prescriber what you are doing. Do not change green vegetable intake dramatically on your own. If you take daily aspirin or any other antiplatelet, the same logic applies, especially if you were considering adding high-dose vitamin E supplementation. If you have known cardiovascular disease, hypertension, diabetes, or chronic kidney disease, talk to your physician before adding anything new. With whole foods as the primary source, the risk is generally minimal. With isolated supplements on top, the risk profile changes, and a brief clinical conversation protects you. If you have a known history of nephrolithiasis, kidney stones, keep vitamin C intake at food source levels rather than megadoses. If you are pregnant, breastfeeding, or scheduled for surgery in the near term, the discussion with your clinician matters beyond what I can responsibly cover here. Sleething, strong veins, clean circulation, and a heart that serves you for decades, these are not accidents. They are built day by day through what you put on your plate, how you move through the day, and how carefully you work with the medications your own physician has already chosen for you. The science is real. The 4 nutrients I walked you through are well studied, accessible in ordinary grocery stores, and safe when used as part of a whole food pattern. The safety notes are the part no one else emphasizes, so let me emphasize them once more. Consistency in vitamin K if you are on warfarin, no high-dose vitamin E supplements if you are on anticoagulants, and your own clinician as a partner, not as a competitor to nutritional care. If this video helped you, share it with 3 people who need it: a parent, a neighbor, a friend who mentions leg pain and doesn't know where to start. Drop Dr. Karen, "I'm starting today" in the comments, so I know you are with me. Subscribe and turn on notifications. Every week, new evidence-grounded content on exactly this kind of practical health science. May your legs grow strong. May your veins run clean. May your heart beat firm and steady. Take care of your legs the same way you take care of your heart. I'll see you in the next one.